Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, and today we're going to talk about color grading, and we're going to talk about how we graded this music video that we made for the Slovenian artist Trotsky. We're going to talk too about the concept and the shooting of the video, but that's going to be next week. You asked us about this tutorial about matching these two awesome cameras, the GH5 and the Fuji X-T3, and it was our second project with the cameras, and we wanted to mix them and have fun. And yeah, we're going to show you how we did the grade and how we got from this to this, from this to this, from this to this. This is Fuji X-T3 vlog, this is Fuji 2, and this is GH5 in vlog. So we're going to delete this so you can see step by step what we did with the grading. So as you see, we applied an instance of color finale here, and for the GH5, and you have 4 layers here. So the first thing we did was to drag our new Millennium LUT 100%, because it was created for the GH5 specifically, but you know that some LUTs work well for another cameras. It's just about testing and about moving the opacity slider. So this was the result after applying the LUT. Pretty good, but we wanted to give more crispiness, you know, in the shadows and the highlights, and we wanted it to be like more towards the blue tones and very desaturated areas on the background, and only showing the skin and the greens here. Yeah, the second thing that we did was to apply curves, so we had this a bit more contrasty and with a bit more of light. It's only a slight curve. As you see, we applied the curve before the LUT is applied, so for me you have more control than later when everything is already crushed. So I put this layer below instead of here. This is different results, as you see. And then we adjust with color wheels, and then you see that crispiness, because we lowered a bit the shadows here. We eliminated a bit of magenta in the skin by moving softly to the green side of the spectrum. If you see, it's only a soft movement. We got rid of some of the warmth in the highlights because we wanted it to go towards blue. And we put a bit more of saturation here. That was the original. And this is with a bit more of punch, because everything is desaturated except these blues here, his skin, and these greens. So we wanted to reinforce these colors. And then as the final touch, a bit more of punch, because we wanted the shadows to crash and to be under, to get this filmic approach. So it's simple, it's 4 layers, starting with the LUT, then the curves, color wheels, and then the curves. You could have been like reducing the, you know, the brightness here in the shadows instead of creating another curve layer, but I like to work in separate layers so I have control and I remember everything that I do in every layer, and you have more control here with the curves than in color wheels, you know. You can create different points in the exact part that you want from the histogram, you know. So that was all. As you see, it's pretty nice. And then the thing with the Fuji, after testing some methods, we found that, and I want to show you some things here, because that was the first latte that we used to get back, you know, some of the color on his skin, because the F-Log comes a bit unsaturated and without color, without life. So we only applied this latte from Fuji. This is the F-Log F Gamut to F-Log 709, so it's the official latte, but we didn't do it 100%, but only 80. And then we applied our New Millennium here, but as you see, if you apply it at 100%, it's not going to work. That's one of the things with lattes. Some people think that you drag the latte and everything is done, and it's not like that. You have to adjust the opacity. You can even combine lattes in different intensities, and you have a good point here to start your grading. And yeah, we wanted to match this, so we feel that this is more like warmer his skin, and we want it more cold. So I added another layer here of color wheels. You see that we're making this darker, and we're getting rid again from some magenta going toward green. And in this case, opposite to the GH5 footage, we had to decrease the saturation, because as you see, the F-Log file comes with a bit more of saturation after applying this latte here, first latte. So I reduced the saturation here. And the next layer, that you can do this in the same one, but I like to work, as I told you, in different layers, was reducing the warmth in the highlights, like in the previous shot. And we're pretty much there now, but then I wanted to increase a bit more the contrast here to make it more filmic. As you see, everything is in range on the, you know, the vector scope. So, and the last part was like changing a bit the colors. In the red, I desaturated a bit the skins to match with the previous one. The greens are almost the same, yeah. The blues are towards teal a bit. So I wanted to reduce that a bit. And yeah, that was all. So now you see that we have a pretty much well matched clips from the GH5 and the Fuji. You can compare the color of the jacket, the color of the skin. I will even, because this is a darker scene, but for this I would reduce maybe a bit the darkness in the shadows, so it's better matched. Without the Fuji LUT, see what happens, the image is dead. So this is essential for me when using F-Log, using this LUT, because it keeps you the log file but with color in it. I always apply it, not 100% some of the times, but it depends on the project. Sometimes I want a more alive and colorful skin, but that was not the case for this video, as you see. Then yeah, this was from the Fuji X-T3, so it's the same. I applied first the Fuji LUT, then the Millennium. Then for the color wheels, I reduced the reds on her skin, as you see, dragging this toward green a bit and reducing the warmth in the highlights too, so going towards blue curves to make it a bit more filmic and dramatic and not so TV style, you know, where all the histogram is covered. So a bit more of mood here, projecting my highlights and a bit darker in the midtones, and then a bit more here as a first layer before of the LUT, again going a bit darker and protecting my highlights, because there's something that happens interesting in the Fuji X-T3 is that it shows that you are clipping your highlights, but in fact when you go to your editing software you see that there's nothing clipped there, so it's clipping almost at 110%. It's a weird thing that we're going to be testing more in the future, and we'll tell you about this, because sometimes, yeah, if you see the zebras in the X-T3, you see that it's clipping, but if you see the small HD, for example, waveform, you see that it's above 100%, but it's not clipping, you know. It's a thing that we're going to investigate more and tell you more about this in the future tutorials. So yeah, this was the result for this scene, pretty similar. And then we applied this plugin from Red Giant, the Cosmo, to make the skin softer. That was all. You keep all the detail in the lips and the rest of the image, but you have more softness in the skin, as you see. Yeah, and that was all. I hope you like this tutorial. You have another method to match your cameras if you have to, and we'll see you next week with all the preparation and the concept of the video and how we shoot it, we film it. Yeah, subscribe if you like, and see you next week.